current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime, 800-306-1990. Before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. Erin Williamson is in the house. Welcome.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And if you have watched any of our social media channels discussing what we are going or promoting what we're discussing today, find it fascinating because we did not even look, we could not have planned this. Today is National Roof Over Your Head Day. Be thankful you have one. That is the celebration of the day. I'm not going to go back to yesterday when it was National Fritters Day. I won't do that. My wife would probably get upset with me, but that's just a different story. And I'm not looking ahead to tomorrow being National Cookie Day. We won't do that either. We'll just see where we go from here. Checking out the markets, it's been one heck of a roller coaster already this morning. If you are an investor in the stock market, I'm looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average right now up 170 points. That's a good sign, but it's been down. It was up as much as 500 points earlier this morning. 375, I think, when it opened. But in the pre-market trading, it was up even further than that. So we're watching the markets. Oil up $1.25 a barrel on the oil market. 26 states right now. 26 states actually have gasoline at under $1.99 a gallon. One station or more within those states under that per gallon. We are at 54 days right now. 54 days in a row where gas prices has dropped. Now in Taxifornia, that is a difference. We don't like to see our prices go down here in Taxifornia. We're much happier seeing prices that are going up. We'll tax ourselves to the hilt if we can. In Missouri, you can buy gas right now. Are you ready for this? $2.05 a gallon. That's the average for the entire state. In Taxifornia, $3.52. Yeah, painful. National average, $2.49. So we are $1.07 more than the national average right now. $1.07 more than the national average. And maybe we can have another election and see if we can vote to tax ourselves just a little bit more. Unbelievable. Unreal. So let's look at the markets. The 10-year Treasury, that's down 2 basis points. We are a little bit below 3.0 right now. Why is that happening? We're looking at the Fannie Mae 30-year bond. That is up 2 basis points. When I say the bond is up, that means interest rates are down ever so slightly this morning. Now, it wasn't that way when we first looked at the markets very, very early in the day, but that's where we are standing right now. And obviously, we would be extremely remiss if we didn't mention today, I mean, holy cow, what an action-packed weekend. I don't think you could have been alive and not had any social media or television to see all of the great words, the great history of the 41st President of the United States, President George H.W. Bush, passing away. When you really think about it, is that any big surprise? I mean, the president had been in poor health for many years, and after his wife of over 70 years passed away, 8.5 months ago, did you really think there was going to be a huge amount of will to live? Just saying, what a life. I mean, you talk about a life of service. He could have sat at home. He could have led the good life. He came from a wealthy family on the East Coast, Connecticut. Mrs. Bush, a wealthy family in Connecticut as well. Yet they decided we're going to go and make it our own. They're going to go west. They're going to go to Texas and create their own way, their own path. And the president became very successful. Now, ironically enough, as president of the United States, that was the culmination of a lifetime of service. Right? You figure World War II, he was a fighter pilot. He goes to serves in China before we had relations in China, so they didn't call him ambassador. He was a special envoy. Think about that. All of the other, vice president for 8 years, president 4 years. Amazing life. So, and I should mention, because I did share on our channels last week about all of the economic news of this week. There won't be any market news on Wednesday, a national holiday, a national day of mourning on Wednesday. So all the markets will be closed on Wednesday. We don't even know if we're going to get some of the reports that typically come out. So that'll be another big issue that we will be watching for you. But the bottom line is an amazing life. And ironically enough, when President Reagan and President Bush 41 served, there was a Democrat Congress at the time. So believe it or not, the people in Washington, in order to get things done, they had to work together. Now, is that a surprise or what?
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, that is a bit of a surprise. Maybe we could learn something in this day and age from the work of President Bush. Amazing life of service right there from the president. Let's see what else is going on in the news today. I do watch the news every morning for you. Sometimes there's just some things that you just have that make you just say, you wonder where in the world they are, and does anybody really believe what's going on in the news in this day and age? And if you just think, and I know there's some people out there that want to just believe whatever the lame street media wants to tell you, but if you would just think, you might question things on your own. Now, I watched the news, and they're telling us that Michelle Obama's book is the best-selling book of the year. Okay, I get it. But when you look at the video that goes along with the story, the book's been out for 2 weeks, and it's already got a big sticker on top of the book saying half price. Now, do you really think that they're going to sell a book for half price if it's the biggest selling book of the year? Why is it marked down so much? Now, maybe they just doubled the price so they could put that sticker on there in the first place. I don't know. But it just makes you want to say, are they telling us the truth? And I question that with the media in this day and age all the time. Unreal. What else is in the news? I'm watching the fascinating Congress people talking about the humanitarian crisis.
You know better than that.
They call it the caravan. Now, it's surprising that it's all Democrats that come out with this, because they've now caught a murderer, a man that escaped jail, convicted of murder, in this group. They've caught people with the MS-13 tattoos in the group, and it's all just women and children coming here to escape their situation. Hey, think maybe it's that they're trying to escape their poverty. That's not what political asylum is all about. So just watch that news. See who's telling you the right stories. Do some research on yourself. Don't believe. We've got a couple senators here that are completely worthless. I mean, we got Kamala Harris, obviously worthless. Dianne Feinstein, look, how would you like to be Dr. Ford and what she did to Dr. Ford? But now you think about, what are they trying to do to you? Right? I mean, if they're willing to do that to those individuals, what are they willing to do to you? Bring all of these people. Now, if they were really looking for political asylum, do you know how many? I think it's about 1,000-mile shorter trip to go to Brownsville, Texas, than it is to get to San Diego. I wonder why they didn't want to go to Brownsville, Texas. I wonder why they didn't want to stay in Mexico. Just makes you want to think a little bit. Ask yourself those questions. See who is willing to answer those questions for you. Maybe we'll have some more information. I mean, we've got a new president coming in Mexico, Andre Manuel Lopez Obrador. I got a long name. I mean, I think they call him AMLO or something like that because even the Mexican folks can't remember his whole name. But number one priority is going to be Tijuana. It's costing them, are you ready for this now? In America, in U.S., if we had 6,000 people, well, maybe we do have 6,000 people. How many troops did we send to the Mexican border? Isn't it about 15,000? And they say it's going to cost about $70 million. Well, in Mexico, they've got 6,000 people, so roughly a third, and it's costing $25,000. Does that make you question the expenses here? I just throw these things out for you to contemplate. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we have got an amazing broadcast lined up for you today. I'm not sure that most people would be able, maybe once you learn about Erin's story, maybe you have a roadmap of what is the right thing to do. I'm not sure most people would follow the same path or have the strength to do this same path. Let's chat about it. You're going to hear about Erin's story, a fire victim survivor and now an advocate. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about reasons to buy a home this winter and the Experian credit score versus a FICO score. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, you know it. Shame on you. But the replay will be available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission. Lending partners will give a credit at closing. The title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Well, welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Good morning, John. Glad to see you with us. I see a whole bunch of familiar faces on here. Let's see who else is on. Arn is on. Kelly is on. Sergio, good to see you. Paul, good to see you with us as well. Hugh, I hope you're feeling better. Bobby Joe, glad to see you with us as well. Got a great broadcast, so make sure you don't go away today. Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends over at Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, Gold Star has the programs and the products for you. Just give me a call at 800-306-1990. I will put you in touch with the right folks over at Gold Star. What is happening in the markets this morning? Let's check it out and see where the bonds are. What is, again, I'm not going to go in a whole lot today. Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 183 points right now. The 10-year Treasury down almost 2 basis points right now. I'm not going to go into all of the whys. You know that that's our big deal here. You can find the what on google.com. It's very, very simple. I don't want to spend a lot of the time this morning, and I generally give you a whole in-depth story as to why we are seeing what we're seeing. You know the big numbers right now. I shared them with you in advance. I told you exactly what would be the market movers. We told you that if you were to listen to what the Federal Reserve had to say, that would tell you what was going on. And we also told you that when we saw the cooling of relations, or the warming, I guess is a better term, warming of relations between the United States and China, the market would take a big jump. Now, I know there's a lot of people in California that don't want to hear this. President Trump told us before the election that if the Democrats are elected, the stock market's going to drop 2,000 points. Surprise, surprise, the stock market dropped about 2,000 points.
Surprise, surprise.
Right after the Democrats won in the House of Representatives. We're coming back from that right now. We've also seen, I told you that we would see a big jump as soon as there was some, again, warming between the U.S. and China. That happened Saturday night. We didn't get quite as much news about it because of the events of President Bush, or the passing of President Bush. I guess not events, but the passing of President Bush. So we'll find out more of the details as time goes on. That is the reasons that the markets are taking a big jump up. We'll see what happens with the bond market as time goes on, but we'll get more into that tomorrow. I want to get into our topic of the day today because I have found this to be a fascinating story. Like many of you, especially those of us that are in Anaheim Hills, we saw what went on last year. Was last year?
October 9th.
October. Why wouldn't you? I would expect that you would know, right? And I shared with you last year that a conference I went to where one of the keynote speakers was not there. Now, you don't leave out on a organization that you help build and not show up, but there was a reason for it. That was the Route 91 catastrophe. Now, I didn't know at the time that our guest today had, I was just a attendee at the conference. So I had no firsthand knowledge. I knew the man in passing, but you were friends with Brian.
Yeah, I went to high school with Brian's wife, Stephanie.
Wow, so you went all the way back. So give us a little bit, a short part of your background and your story, Erin, so we kind of get an idea of what we're talking about. Okay,
well, we lost our home in Canyon Fire 2, which was the fire that took place on October 9th, 2017. Prior to that, about, 8 or 9 days before that, we had Canyon Fire 1. And at the same time, we also had the Mandalay Bay shooting at Route 91 in Vegas. And I was supposed to attend that event. And I had multiple friends there, about 5 different groups of friends over at that particular event. And I was supposed to be there and staying at 6th floor Mandalay Bay with my friends. And undoubtedly, at some point I would have hooked up with Stephanie and Brian and probably been part of that group. And I don't understand why things happen, but one of my clients had called and asked if we could all go to a place that we have at the river, and I made a last minute decision not to attend the concert and to travel to Arizona instead. And on the way home from Arizona, I ended up listening to the concert on the way home and wishing that I was there and checking in with all my friends and following everybody on Facebook and Instagram. And really, I was torn, and I had a wonderful time with my clients, and ultimately that decision could have saved my life. But sadly, Brian didn't make it home from that concert, as many people know, especially those local to the area here in Anaheim Hills. Brian didn't make it home, and that was horrible. That was one of the most tragic things. I had been putting together, I was on our reunion committee for a reunion, and we were doing a multi-class reunion, and Brian and Stephanie would have been there. And, so to break the news also to the entire class that they're not going to be there, and this is why. I mean, it really affected all of us as a big community locally, as me personally. But it put a lot of things in perspective for me, because that really was a tragedy, and I can't compare losing my home to losing a life.
Absolutely, and that's just amazing how you've had that, and it's ironic because it's not like you had the opportunity to reflect, right? I mean, if anybody watched some of the news stories and the news coverage, you were saying these same things while the fire was still burning.
Yeah, the day after the fire, the first opportunity we had to go back home, I went back, and it was me and my 3 boys, and the news crew, actually Michelle Geely from Channel 9 was on my driveway, and she came right over to me and she introduced herself, and she says, Erin Williamson, what do you see? What does it feel like to lose everything you've ever worked hard for, right? It's like, this
Sure.
is your home. And I look,
and everybody's home is the same. I mean, everybody's home is their castle.
It's their castle,
right? I mean, that's where you go. That's your security blanket. That's where you raise your kids, your family, your everything.
Yeah, and this was our dream home. I mean, this is a home, we'd been there for 12 years, and we put our heart and soul into this home when it was exactly what we wanted, and it was something that we worked really hard for a long time. We had our sights on this home for 10 years before we even owned it.
Wow.
So, long story short, Michelle asked me, she says, Erin Williamson, what does it feel like to look and realize that your home is gone? You're never going to be able to come home to this home again. And I said, if I had to say that I lost something, I would say that I lost a structure, but I didn't lose what's in our hearts. And we didn't lose what's in, we didn't lose our family, we didn't lose our friends, and at the end of the day, we didn't really lose anything that mattered, if you look at it as a whole, because what we went through the week before, losing Brian, and knowing what Stephanie had gone through, and Michelle Geely had also interviewed Stephanie when
Wow.
she put it 2 and 2 together that
Sure.
we were friends. She says, oh my gosh, I had no idea that you guys were friends, but I said, that was a tragedy. I'm like, I look at this, this is just an opportunity to we're going to learn a lesson, and we're going to see what the future has in plan for us, because this is just an opportunity to do something good.
Well, I'm a big believer that there are no coincidences in this world.
I 100% agree with you.
But before the broadcast, you were sharing something that I had not heard before, that you could have had different shoes on had the winds been greater at Canyon Fire 1.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this story. So Canyon Fire 1 took place the week before Canyon Fire 2, and being in real estate, I was on an inspection in Placentia, which is a city, maybe a good 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes away. And I was outside, I walked outside with the inspector, and John Hammond,
who's watching us right now.
Watching us right now. And John will remember, I looked up and I saw this giant plume of smoke that was in the direction of my home, and I basically just got in my car and left, and without any explanation. And I think I might have called John as I'm driving home, and I said, sorry about that, but that big plume of smoke, my son, my teenager is homesick, he's asleep. Nobody's going to save him if our house goes up. I was scared to death when I saw that plume of smoke. So I drove like a bat out of hell, and I came home, and thank God there was no winds that day, because that would have been an entirely different situation. But that also put everything in perspective for me, because Canyon 2, the winds were so wicked. We lost our home so quickly. I mean, really within minutes of me leaving the home, our home was gone. And it could have been my son.
Sure.
Putting everything in perspective, it could have been my son had the circumstances been different.
I think it's fascinating, and now the mission that you're on is, when you look at what happened at Route 91. Friends and many people, especially in Orange County, have connections to Route 91. But then you look at the Canyon Fire 1, Canyon Fire 2, your entire path. Really, again, no coincidence as to the mission that Erin is now on, and we're going to talk more about that mission as we go forward today and in the future, because there's a lot of things going on that you need to know about. We're going to chat more with Erin Williamson. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events, our community. When we come back, you can reach me at any time. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, at Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube, ronsiegelradio.com. Archives, we'll have that all posted within 24 hours. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com, or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Well, welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. As I've told you, Nest is the quickest way to get any information on new listings in the marketplace. But let's get 4 great reasons to consider buying a home today instead of waiting. Number 1, prices will continue to rise. CoreLogic's latest Home Price Insight report revealed that home prices have appreciated by 5.6% over the last 12 months. The same report predicts that prices will continue to increase at a rate of 4.7% over the next year. That is national numbers. You can get your local numbers from a real estate professional in your neighborhood. But the bottom line, home prices has come and gone. Home values will continue to appreciate for years. Waiting makes no sense. Mortgage interest rates are projected to increase. Freddie Mac's primary mortgage market survey shows that interest rates for a 30-year mortgage have hovered around 4.8%. Most experts predict that rates will rise over the next 12 months. The Mortgage Bankers Association, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and the National Association of Realtors are in unison projecting that rates will increase in 2019. You are paying a mortgage, whether you rent or buy. You're paying your mortgage or someone else's. So why pay somebody else's? And number 4, it's time to move on with your life. The cost of a home is determined by 2 major components: the price of the home and the current mortgage rate. It appears that both are on the rise, but what if they were not? Would you wait? Look at the actual reason you're buying and decide if it's worth waiting. Whether you want to have a great place for your children to grow up, you want your family to be safer, or you just want to have control over renovations, maybe now is the time for you. Give me a call. Let's chat about it. Let's strategize. We've got the Get Mortgage Ready program. Get on the program and get your new home. That is the real-time real estate segment. Again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. We are continuing our conversation this morning. Erin Williamson is with us, first team real estate and fire survivor advocate. It's fascinating when you watch some of the news, and I take a lot of news with a grain of salt anymore. I watch the business channels, but a lot of the local news really sensationalizes, and it's amazing. But if you've seen what's going on in our state, and I don't want to get into the reasons why this is happening in our state right now, that's a topic for a different day. But what is happening? We know that paradise is no longer paradise. It's gone, right? Northridge, amazing how many acres, or hundreds of thousands of acres are gone. Here we had the Holy Fire recently, and now as we're looking at rain this weekend, which many of us say, well, we really need rain in California, and there's some people that are saying, please no, right? I mean, so you've got the good and the bad, and we've now got, and I don't even know the right term to use, because everybody's got a mission, and sometimes people have their eyes opened to the mission. Some people just go along walking in a fog. And, thankfully, Erin is here. You've had your eyes open for this mission. I remember right from the very first, and you were sharing with me a story about one of your books, right? And I remember right early on when one of your partners came in, and we were chatting here and at a local networking event that we do. And, everyone's wanting to reach out to help you because you and your husband are philanthropic people. and you're saying, no, we don't need it. And, you had to learn a little bit
pride
of...
got in my way, yeah.
Right? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I learned a big lesson. And, we lose our home, and everybody comes out of the woodwork, and everybody wants to help us. But, I'm the helper. I'm not the recipient, and I'm the one that fixes things, and I've got a lot of pride, and we have a lot of pride, and we feel like, there's so many more people that need help more than we do. We've got insurance, and we're going to be just fine. So I had a really hard time accepting gifts or monetary donations, especially. Like, so many friends are like, I'm going to start you a GoFundMe. I'm like, oh my gosh, don't do that. Please don't do that. Whatever you do, don't do that. And so I decided, at this, right after our home burned down and the Anaheim Hills fire had just ended, there was another fire that was so much more significant, and that was the Santa Rosa fire. I think they lost over 6,000 structures. I mean, thousands of acres were burned.
Sure.
And so, I attend Influence Church right here in Anaheim Hills, and the pastors Tammy and Phil said, hey, Erin, why don't we put together a foundation in Joshua, my little boy's name, Joshua's name, and we're going to call it Fire to Fire. So everybody here in Anaheim Hills and Yorba Linda area can support the fire up in Santa Rosa. And I was all over that. I'm like, you know what? Everybody's donating all of this stuff to me right now, and I know it's coming from their heart, but I don't have anywhere to put all of this stuff, and I don't know where we're going to live. And we're at the moment all 5 of us stuffed into a 2-bedroom condo, and it was the first place where we had a place to go that night, thankfully. But I feel like I needed to do something, and the best way to get your mind off of your own current situation is to help somebody else that needs it more. And so I got 100% behind, you know what, let's do this. Let's make our office the place to drop off. And so thank you for allowing Christina to come in and promote what we did on the show last year. But we had our office be the drop-off location. We collected an entire moving truck full of supplies as well as gift cards. And we were able to, all through donations, get a truck, drivers, locate a location up in Santa Rosa area to drop everything off. And when I say we had supplies, we had supplies. And
well, I'm going to want you to talk about that too, Erin, because one of the things in our discussions that you've shared, and those of us who have not walked in your shoes don't know this, right? I'll bring over a bunch of our jackets and shoes and things like that, and you shared that that's not necessarily helpful.
Right, and
grateful. People are grateful, but not. It doesn't necessarily meet the need.
What I learned, and you've got homeowners that have lost their home. These are not homeless people that have been displaced. These are homeowners that have lost their homes, and I know it comes from the heart that people say, okay, I want to clean out my garage and give you all of our old stuff, but we don't have anywhere to put it, first of all. There's also a pride of, I don't want to go around wearing somebody else's old tennis shoes. And no offense to that.
Right.
There's
a place for that, but this isn't the right...
But these aren't...
The venue.
This isn't the venue. And so I've discovered that gift cards are so helpful. When I think about, okay, what did we do that night? We had literally nothing. I left with the clothes on my back, and that's what we had. So whatever my kids wore to school that day, that's what we had. So we ended up going to Target. That was the closest thing to us, and I think we spent $900 on stuff.
Sure.
Toothbrushes, shampoos. We realize we don't have socks, we don't have pajamas, we don't have anything that we actually really need. And so many people, and that need is just so great to be able to purchase, what you need in the way that you like it.
Sure.
Not somebody else's old hairdryer, but...
Yeah, I don't like Crest, right? I like Aquafresh.
Exactly. And the kind that you need and that you're used to. And so that you can give that same, especially when there's kids involved. You want the kids to be like not displaced,
Right.
and have those same favorite toys repurchased for them as soon as possible. And just
Well, that teddy bear to go to sleep with, or whatever it is. I mean, I know you've got boys, so it's probably not going to be the teddy bear, but whatever that special thing is that they go to bed with to try and, comfort.
Exactly. And one of my girlfriends knew that my little boy loved SpongeBob, and she had all the SpongeBob characters delivered to me, which just reduced me to tears.
Sure.
It was so thoughtful, but it made his day, and it was like everything's going to be fine when you
Right.
start realizing.
Well, when you lose your home, especially little kids, I mean, that's a security blanket. Mom and dad are a security blanket. That place where they go that they know they're comfortable with. I mean, could you imagine having to go and start living in? Well, you were lucky enough that you said that you had a condo to go to, but what if you have to go to a hotel and that's called home now for a certain amount of time because you have to deal with insurance companies and trying to find someplace else, and everything you have is gone. What would you do? Think about that. What would you do? We're going to chat about it when we come back because we might have an answer for you. We'll talk more about that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio discussing your real estate current events, financial markets, and maybe how we can come together as a community, as a society, to help one another and get rid of some of this garbage that's going on in our world. You can reach me anytime, off-air number 800-306-1990. You're going to want that number, especially when we come back and hear the rest of what Erin has to share with us today. Make sure you write down the number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Erin's going to give us some great information, and I'll be able to put you in touch with Erin at any time. Give me a call. Okay, that number. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Isn't it time you found out the truth about FHA-insured home equity conversion? No, it's not your grandfather's reverse mortgage. This just may be the finest financial planning strategy available for all homeowners of retirement age. Helping protect what you've earned is the job of your board of directors with continued education. Major research has shown that using a HECM will significantly enhance the success rate of a retiree's portfolio and legacy. Please allow us to educate. For your complimentary consultation, call Jay Kaplan at 949-300-3855. That's 949-300-3855.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRENMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home
the
and
last
Finance
segment?
Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message. And as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. They all are. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer has these solutions for you. They are part of our Get Mortgage Ready program. And I was going to talk to you about the difference this morning between Experian credit scores, Vantage credit scores, and FICO's credit scores. But you know something? It's my show, so I'm going to go off script, guys, and we're not going to do that. I'm just going to tell you, get the information from us. We'll share it with you. I'll do this story and give you all the details tomorrow on it. But I want to spend more time chatting with Erin this morning. So we'll save that for tomorrow. If you want to know about the difference between the Experian credit score, the FICO credit score, and where the best place is to monitor your true FICO score, because I hear from a lot of people, and about 99.9% of them give me the wrong answer as to where the only place to get true FICO scores are. So that's the Your Credit Matters segment as it is today, but we are going to continue our conversation. Erin Williamson is with us, First Team Real Estate. That's her job, but I think really I could probably say with some fairly decent confidence, Fire Survivor Advocate is more of a mission.
Yeah, it's my passion project.
I would imagine. So I want to ask you, before we get into what you're up to now, I want to ask you a question. Hopefully I'm not getting us into trouble here, but sometimes I do that anyway. So we've kind of talked about your experience and your perspective through the fires. What about your husband? Was he the same path as you?
No, everybody has their own path, and
there's nothing wrong with either one.
No, because there's no wrong. Everybody's got their own opinions, and
right.
Whatever works for you works for you. But it's not the same for everybody, and believe me, I get that the majority of people do not feel the same way that I do. But my job, I feel like I'm put on earth to actually help people see perspective and really understand what's really important. So interesting that you bring that up, because my husband has done a 180-degree turn. And we were at dinner the other night, Sunday night. We were connected with a family that has lost their home in Malibu this last 2 weeks ago, lost their home as well, and she had the same type of perspective of, oh my gosh, I just lost everything, I'm never going to recover from this is 40 years worth of work, and it's all down this drain, and my stuff. And my husband was there, and I looked right at him because I wanted to teach her a lesson, and I was hoping that he would answer it correctly, and he did. But I looked at him and I said, 13 months later, here we are. We have the most incredible people in our lives, because perfect strangers changed who we are. Like, we are totally different people than we are today than we were then. And I said, if we could go back 13 months, and knowing what you know now, with all of the relationships that we have, because of the people that we've met, because our house is burned down, would you rather have our house and all of our stuff that we worked really hard for, or would you rather have all of the relationships that are in our life? And hands down, I want their relationships. I'll never go back. They can keep the house, they can keep the stuff. And
fascinating.
I was just like, and
pass the test.
And they started crying. The couple that we were with, I said, I just want you guys to see that if you keep understanding that the kindness of strangers is going to change your perspective. My complete faith in humanity has been restored because strangers came out of the woodwork. My existing relationships were strengthened, but perfect strangers changed me. And I want to be able to give that same gift back to the other people that think that they're just, living or wallowing and can't see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, many of us that have gotten to know you can say that, we have to be thankful for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Right? Because, I could go out there and say that, hey, it's just stuff and you're going to be better, you're going to grow, and as the new commercials out, and those of you that are old like me come out and say, you're going to be bigger, stronger, faster, right? But those are just words.
And
right? Until it's somebody like you.
I try to live by example, and those that really know me, I post a ridiculous amount of stuff on Facebook, but I do that for a reason, because I want people to see. Trust me, there's not very many people that are busier than I am. I
Sure.
am at a full load all of the time, but I'm still able to get things done.
Well, mom and successful businesswoman and wife, that's a full-time, those
It's a
three
full-time
full-time jobs.
Right? I wear many hats.
And now to go into what you're doing now to help others and try and be there as a voice for other people.
I want to be the voice for the people that don't have one and that aren't able to find their voice.
Sure.
Or that think that they'll never have a voice again because they're so displaced. And just to realize, not what you hear on the news. Okay, you listen to the news and you realize it's all doom and gloom out there, but it's really not, because what I learned going through this whole process is that perfect strangers are what restored my faith. And I realized the world is full of really, really genuinely good people. And I received cards, gift cards, notes from kids. Little kids writing me notes just telling me that they're praying for me or that they're thinking about my family. That reduced me to tears. I have stacks of them. I have hundreds of cards that perfect strangers wrote to me or had their kids write to me. And that's what I would love to encourage other people to do is, what happened in Paradise is unfathomable. And you can adopt a family. There are thousands of people right now that need someone just to encourage them, and that makes all the difference in the world. So if you go even online onto Facebook and you look up Paradise Adopt a Family or Rising from the Ashes, there's so many websites where you can meet real people with real needs. A lot of them have wish lists and Amazon accounts, and you guys, it's the holidays.
Sure.
If everybody did one little thing from everybody, it will change the world.
It's fascinating that you bring that up, because you hear about that sometimes, but again, you hear about it from people like me who have a megaphone. I'm on the radio every morning, but I haven't lived what Erin's, I haven't walked in Erin's shoes. And hearing from somebody who's been down the path, telling you what it means to her, what it meant to your son getting the SpongeBob items.
And to have perfect strangers sending my kids Christmas gifts. We don't even know who to thank. A lot of them were just anonymous. It was just, here, give this to your kids. Let them know that we love them.
Isn't that amazing? And again, those are the stories. Unfortunately, one of the few things that I agreed with President Obama with was, if it bleeds, it leads. And that's the way our news is. But stories like this that really need to get out there, where we've got people that we really want to get this information to. I'm glad you're out there sharing this from, and I love the new title, Fire Survivor Advocate, right? Because people need that.
I got really mad when on the news they kept calling me Erin Williamson, fire victim. I'm like, No,
I'm not a victim. Yeah, you're not a victim unless. Yeah, you're not a victim until you say you're a victim.
Yeah, unless you choose to be a victim, you're not a victim.
So what's next on the horizon? What are you up to?
Okay, so there's a couple events that are coming up. I'm been in communication with the mayor of Westlake Village, and we're going to, I'd like to be able to have a voice to be able to educate a lot of the families that have lost homes and how to help them navigate through the insurance process, and really understand that this is just the beginning. This isn't the end of anything. This is the beginning of the rest of their lives, and they choose, because it is a choice, if they choose to be better or if they choose to be bitter. And a lot of people are stuck in bitter right now, and I want to help them see that that's
How
really
long does
the
that
wrong
usually
choice.
take?
Well, it depends. I never chose that path.
Okay.
but a lot of people usually do. That's the natural instinct, is to be resentful and point fingers and place blame, but they have to also step back and realize they're only hurting themselves and everybody else around them. Because when you start complaining, I heard something, actually Greg Reed said this when we were at his house. When you complain, 95% of the people don't care, and the other 5% are glad it happened to you.
Wow.
So it's powerful, but it's kind of true.
Sure.
Stop complaining. Get out of your own way. And if you want to feel better about your circumstances, then go find somebody else that has worse circumstances than you and help them.
Absolutely. So you're going to be doing that with the mayor of Westlake Village. You're working with them.
Westlake Village. I'll be out. I'll be out there on December 12th. I'll be speaking to families there. And what I'm doing in the meantime is I'm collecting as many Target gift cards, Walmart gift cards, anything that is easy, that people can go and help themselves and help their kids. I'm distributing to the families in need, and I'm trying to include handwritten notes as well with those gift cards to give them a little bit of inspiration. Also for the people in Paradise, that's something bigger than me. I need a voice, because I want to try and help as many people as possible. And the best way to be able to do it is buy gift cards or cash donations that can go directly to these families. There's another event that's coming up in January 13th, that will be for the Thousand Oaks, Malibu, Westlake Village people that have been affected, that I will be attending, and that is going to be it's a free shopping event. We are looking for any kind of donations, sponsors. We want to feed the families dinner for about 250, 300 families, and hopefully get some kind of a big name, because this isn't also just about the families that have lost their home, but this also includes the families of the borderline victims. So, and I won't call them victims, because sadly that's what a real tragedy looks like.
Yeah, their days can't get any better. Right? Correct. I mean, and anybody that's out there that is a parent, I'm sure that, I shouldn't say I'm sure, because I haven't walked in your shoes, thankfully, but nothing could be worse than what those families are going through. And again, that doesn't get any better. But we're going to continue this. In fact, I'll probably be asking Erin to voice some commercials for me, so we can play this every day and get you this information. But in the meantime, give me a call anytime at 800-306-1990. If you have gift cards, if you want to help out, if you know somebody that knows somebody, give me a call. We'll put together a mission here to work with Erin in her mission and making that successful. And obviously, set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John, who's engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, if you want to help Erin Williamson in her mission, or I didn't even mention it, she's also a great real estate agent here in the community, give me a call, 800-306-1990. Be happy to put you in touch. Again, 800-306-1990. And remember my motto, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.